Hey everybody, the range woke after his blind forever after anti-ICE protests attacks federal officers backfires. Listen, if you come running at a federal agent with a microphone, blowhorn, whatever the hell kind of instrument in your hand, of course they're gonna shoot you. Cause be honest, you coming at them with a weapon. If they tell you back, stand back, you don't listen, that's on you. It's simple as that. These ICE protesters think it's all shits and giggles, fun and games. They're thinking because they protesting and everything, people will side with them. No. Y'all protesting for the stupidest reason ever. Y'all protesting so the Somalian people who is scamming and stealing your money from y'all, they stay there. That's bullshit. So let's go ahead and get to the video, shall we? Enjoy.
A 21-year-old anti-ICE protester has been blinded after being shot during a local rally against the shooting death of Renee Good in Minnesota. That Friday night in Santa Ana turned violent. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez live in downtown Santa Ana. Christina, you spoke to this protester.
Yeah, this morning while he was still in the hospital, he has just been released. He identifies himself as Caden Rumler. He's blind in one eye, he says, and he's sharing photos of his injuries. And I'm going to warn you, they're disturbing, but he wants to share them because he says he wants people to understand the difference between what he's saying happened and what Department of Homeland Security is saying. We also have as much video as we could of the incident, so here, take a look. Federal agents approach protesters during a Friday night rally in Santa Ana. Grab someone holding a loudspeaker and pull him away as others prove up, including one wearing a dark shirt.
There you go. See, he ran. He ran at ICE agents, okay? You don't run at ICE agents during tense complications like that, okay? Because they are trained to do this. Just like cops are trained. You don't run at cops in tense situations because that's how you get shot or that's how you get killed. But this dumbass ran at an ICE agent with a microphone in his hand. Okay? Of course you're going to get shot. Common sense would tell you, do not run at police officers with nothing in your hand. Just like ICE agents are trained to do the same thing the cops are trained to do. But y'all don't listen. Y'all run at people like that and then y'all got shot. Then y'all want to play the victim. It doesn't go that way. Okay? You can't take a shit in somebody's backyard and think it's okay. Alright? You ran at an ICE agent with a microphone. That's a weapon in their book. It's a weapon. Deadly force weapon. 2, they actually stand back. You do not stand back. 3, y'all protesting over something stupid. As I said again, y'all protest because the Somalians are frauding y'all, but y'all don't want to fight that. Y'all want to protect them. 4, y'all think it's all fun and games. 5, y'all also protest because that Renee Goodwin got killed when she tried to kill ICE agent with her car. Everything. If she did succeed and lived, y'all be celebrating her, which is stupid. But now y'all still protesting about that, and she's already has known as an anti-ICE agent that trained to fight and kill ICE agents. She's a terrorist. But y'all acting like everything is shits and giggles and nothing can be done about it, and that's wrong. Get back to the video.
Who doubles over. The other protester wearing a white shirt struggles with officers. The officers then grab the protester with black shirt, Caden Rumler, who sent me these photos from the hospital where he says he is being treated for a serious eye injury. which he describes in a statement read by a fellow member of Dare to Struggle, the organization that was protesting Friday.
Heard a bang, and suddenly I was on my knees. The DHS agent dragging me towards the building. I was gripping the front of my collar.
Over the phone, Caden explains he was taken inside the government building and eventually transported to a hospital. The other protesters seemed struggling with officers also speaking to media.
I was released from Santa Ana jail after being held for almost 3 days without knowing my charge until the morning of my release.
DHS responding to Fox 11
They can do
saying this was a mob throwing rocks, bottles, and fireworks, and that, quote, one of the rioters who was arrested for disorderly conduct was taken to the hospital for a cut and was released that night. Orange County Supervisor Vicente Sarmiento says he was there and that local authorities cannot get any details from the feds about what you see happening in this video.
We can't hold anybody responsible. That's the frustration that people have, is that they're seeing this unfold before their eyes with little to no accountability.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about a story that unfortunately I think we're going to see a lot more of in this country. And again, this is unfortunate. This is not something that I'm actively cheering on. However, I understand that it is necessary, right? Because stories like this have to be covered because liberals and leftists don't understand that there are consequences to their actions, okay? There's a difference between peaceful protest and obstruction and domestic terrorism and riots, which is what they're participating in. And when you participate in those types of activities, there are consequences. And sometimes people got to find out the hard way, right? In order to red pill a leftist, sometimes you just got to give them what they want, right? Give them what they're asking for, and maybe they'll learn, okay? And let's just say this woke activist, he definitely didn't see this coming, right? A 21-year-old who essentially has been blinded permanently in one eye after a federal agent fired a less than lethal round at his face during a protest. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
And now to our other top story. Tonight we're hearing from a 21-year-old protester who is now permanently blind in one eye after being hit in the face by a less than lethal round fired by a federal agent.
The Department of Homeland Security says officers were responding to a violent riot. But video, the protester and his attorney tell a different story.
CBS LA's Gio Insignaris is here to walk us through all of it. Gio.
Well, Ruta Bay, Pat, good evening to you both. A lot to get to with this one. This all happened the night of January 9th in Santa Ana in front of the federal building there. A large group of people were protesting the shooting death of Renee Good by a federal agent in Minneapolis. After the protest wrapped, a smaller group stayed outside the federal building, continuing to demonstrate. What happened next changed the man's life. We do also want to warn you that some of the video you'll see and his injury may be disturbing. In this video, you can hear less than lethal rounds being fired and see law enforcement approaching the crowd. One protester is grabbed and pulled away. Seconds later, another less than lethal round is fired. It strikes 21-year-old Caden Rumler directly in the face. He collapses to the ground.
The sounds were muffled, and I remember just sitting on the floor, and I just started feeling like a bit of warmth down my face.
The video then shows a federal agent grabbing Rumler by the collar and dragging him across the plaza. His left eye can be seen bleeding heavily. Rumler says before an ambulance was finally called, some officers mocked his injury.
There were two people who were chuckling and laughing and saying, "I'll never see out of my left eye again."
At the hospital.
Yeah, I actually believe that this individual is trans, right? I believe so. Okay, and it's just one of those things where some people just have to find out the hard way, right? I don't like what's happening to these leftists because I don't believe that people with common sense, it should take all of this for them to realize that, hey, you cannot attack federal agents, okay? You cannot obstruct. You cannot participate in these riots. You cannot continue to be agents of chaos and to expect that nothing's going to happen, that there will be no consequences for your actions. This individual decided to participate in whatever they were doing and ended up essentially losing sight in one of their eyes, right? So now, for the rest of your life, potentially, you won't be able to see again. For what? For what? What did you accomplish? What did you get out of it? Mass deportations aren't going to stop. What did you get out of it? If this person would have stayed home, or put it this way, stayed back, right? I'm not saying they can't protest. Okay, I'm not saying they can't make their voices heard. But if they would have stayed back if they would not have antagonized the agents, this would not have happened. This person would still have 2 eyes, right, to see out of. Now you only got 1. Only 1. So I couldn't imagine giving up an eye for an illegal, right? I couldn't imagine doing that.
Well, he went through more than 6 hours of surgery. Doctors found fragments of plastic, metal, and glass embedded in his eye and skull. He likely will never regain his vision in the left eye.
My doctor said it's a miracle I'm still alive, because any closer, if it hit that, I definitely would have died that night.
Wearing the same outfit he had on the night of the protest, visible blood
There's
stains
non-lethal
marking his shoes
rounds,
and pants.
goddammit.
Rumler says he wanted people to
Non-lethal
see what
rounds. They're
happened.
using
Even
plastic
without these,
rounds.
I don't think I'd stop thinking about it. It's always in my head, replaying.
Yeah, I think that it's fair for people to see what happened too. This is why I'm doing the video, so that people understand that
He wasn't out there last night. He didn't ran at the police, ICE agents. He wouldn't got shot.
acts of
Simple as
chaos,
that.
right? This is possibly what could happen. This is possibly what could happen. That's what these people need to understand. There are consequences. There are consequences. So, yeah, I think it's important for people to see. And hopefully people learn the lesson of, hey, you know what? If I want to not lose an eye, a limb, be shot, get hurt, potentially die, I need to stay back if I'm going to protest, right? I need to protest peacefully. Or, better yet, just stay home, right? Just stay home.
Homeland Security says what happened that night was a violent, coordinated riot. They say 2 agents were injured, adding that of the 2 protesters who were arrested, one was treated for a cut and released that night.
So to call this a cut, it's just absurd.
Rumler's attorney says the video shows an officer deliberately aiming at Rumler's face.
You would never fire a weapon like this at someone's face.
It's a non-lethal
unless you're
round,
intending to kill
stupid
them.
ass
So it's
motherfucker.
lethal force.
It was not lethal force. It was non-lethal,
Apparently,
damn it.
non-lethal force is lethal force now, right? These lefties are so funny to me.
I swear,
right?
the
They're so
Democrats
funny.
and left
Vehicle
liberals are stupid as freaking
accelerating
hell.
towards an ICE officer. Apparently, it's not lethal force, right? It's not lethal force. But a pepper ball gun being shot at an ICE protester, apparently that is now lethal force. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Fired less than lethal rounds at George Floyd protesters' heads and groins, seriously injuring many. The city paid out millions in settlements. LAPD policy forbids officers from doing that now unless their life is at risk. Rumler says he never attacked the federal agents.
Bullshit, you ran at
After
him.
everything that's happened,
Right
he still
there.
has no regrets about going out there.
I don't think I could sit at home and do nothing. I have the privilege of being able to go out there physically, and some people don't have that. And, I want to make sure I can use my voice to speak for the people who are too scared to use theirs.
Rumler was cited for disorderly conduct while still in the hospital. He says DHS has refused to tell his doctors what type of munition was used, even as fragments remain inside his skull. His attorney says they're now investigating and considering legal action. Pat Rudabay, I'll send it back to you.
Dumbass is always you get a
heard
person.
that? You got folks out here being blinded for illegal immigrants, right? Blinded because they don't understand that there are consequences when you obstruct. Blinded because they're upset with the Trump administration. It's crazy, man. I don't understand how you can be so Trump deranged, so radicalized, that you would literally sacrifice your eye, right? Be blinded because you're against enforcing federal law. It's crazy to me. It really is. Again, it seems as if I care more about these leftists, right, and their lives and their physical well-being more so than the liberal media, Democrats, and leftist commentators. I'm just telling you guys, right? You should probably stay home, right? And if you're going to protest, stay back, okay? Stay back, get in your little corner, make your voices heard, okay? And don't get in the way. Don't obstruct. Stop obstructing, okay? I don't want to see people get hurt. I don't want to see people get shot. I don't want to see people get killed. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if these people decide they're going to do that anyways, I'm not going to shed a tear. I don't care about the sad sob stories. You're not going to get me with the sad stories. You're not going to. You might get the so-called independents